Okay, go ahead, Manny. Whoops, we lost the. There it
Yeah,
is. Okay.
yeah. Oh, got it. Okay. Technically, the twist in, again, biomechanics and physiology, it is termed as spinal twist or axial rotation. So it involves the movement, no, of the spine, basically the spine. But we're not really moving the spine itself. We're just moving the muscles surrounding the spine. And somehow, we can help in the lubrication of our spine. But we are not really turning it that much. No? So it is quite different in the sense that in yoga, we use it, no, to lubricate our spine and improve our range of motion by stretching the muscles, no, that surrounding our spine. And it's a great way to prepare the spine for spinal flexion or extension, back bends. When I say spinal extension, that's back bend. And it's a motion to neutralize the spine following a flexion or extension. So after yoga, the best way to rest, to counter, act all those movements is to do some twist. Next slide, please.
Mhm.
So I just want to explain the table on the turning. Technically, we can only turn our thoracic and lumbar spine up to 45 degrees or 40 to 45 degrees. The only reason we can look back at 90 degrees because we are using the cervical spine, the one that's connecting somewhere in the neck to the thoracic spine. That's why we can do that. No? So in my case, when I command the spinal twist, I first go to the thoracic, not much on the lumbar, and then the cervical will follow, the head follows. No? And as much as possible, I want them to avoid twisting the lumbar side. No? Especially me, I have some issues on my lumbar spine. It's not advisable to really move that portion. Next slide, please. Yeah, those are the muscles the abdominal muscles we use in the spinal twist. Practically all of those muscles, the 4 layers of muscles, we are using them. But the most important there is the obliques. They're the ones that really starts the process of rotation or or the twisting. No? It starts from there, and the other muscles will just help you hold the twist there, no? And deepen the twist. But the initial action is happening with the external obliques. No? And next slide. And then, of course, the one of the reason for the twisting is for us to stretch, and somehow, calibrate our spinal muscles, 4 layers of them, and that's the one that we are really twisting. There is a minor movement in our vertebrae. Most of the movements are happening in the muscles. Next slide, so that I can go faster. I don't have to. This is example of a spinal twist. So why do we twist? We realign, no, the shoulder girdle and the pelvic girdle on opposite direction. No? Supposedly, it helps in keeping the spinal disc properly lubricated. And 3, it improves the strength and flexibility of our abdominal and back muscles. Yeah, you feel good after stretching the obliques. Really feel good, and the posture can really be propped up. No, and if you have back pains, for example, my lower back, I always twist. Next slide. Yeah, this is just the proper and safe spinal rotation or twist. No, you first breathe in to lengthen and breathe out to twist. No? You don't, you lengthen through your breath. And if seated or standing twist, avoid leaning back. Try to be upright. No? And then twist from the center. I start from the thoracic level of the spine, somewhere chest level. And then before I do that, I lengthen my spine. And then whatever is rooted down on the floor, I really press them down, whether my feet, my back, or my hands and knees. And we move the rib cage and pelvis in opposite directions. So that's why you get twist. Sometimes when we twist lying down, go to the next slide, I'll show you. When we do the supine twist, there are 3 types of twist: the standing, the seated, and the supine. When we do the supine, sometimes we tend to lift the shoulder so that we can lower our knee or legs to the other side. It's not working that way. You're not maximizing the twist. So whatever it is, keep the shoulder flat. And then when we twist, wherever our knee or feet can reach, just be satisfied with them. No? because that's our range of motion. But we prioritize first the one girdle, either the shoulder or the pelvic girdle, really flat on the floor so that we can get the full benefit of twist. Next slide. Yeah, that example, the revolved chair pose, a standing rotations. Next slide. We don't have to go on the detail. Next slide. Yeah, that's the benefit. Next slide. This is one of the, I would say, one of the more challenging twists when you do the elbow to knee twist on low lunge. There are a lot of things happening there, and you will see in that position, in our peak pose, the ekapada koundinyasana, it's very important that your armpit, can lay down on your knee or part of your thighs. Okay, next slide. That's the benefit. And then another challenging twisting pose is when you do it on a crescent lunge pose. You will see from that picture, the lady has practically her triceps, along the side of her thigh. That is a very important factor. If you notice that your students cannot do that, it will be difficult for him or for her to go into our peak pose because her thighs or her legs will slide down and fall. Okay, next. Yeah, that's one of the benefit. The more intense one is you put your heel down. That's a more intense variation of twist there. Next. The revolved triangle. This is an important pose because in our peak pose, our legs will be in a revolved triangle pose. You see that this shape, our legs will be in that position, while our upper body, the arms and the shoulder will be in the chaturanga position or the push-up. So you're combining two poses in an arm balance. So it's a little bit complicated, but they have to maximize it with the use of the revolved triangle pose. That is the format of your feet, of your legs. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide. And then I start with the twisting. We call it the Marichasana seat because that is your entry point. As you can see, there is much emphasis on the armpit, almost on top of the lower thigh, because your upper arm will serve as a platform for your thighs to go into that pose. Okay, next slide. That's the entry point. Yeah, if you want to deepen it, you bind from behind. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah, there. Can you play the video? It's a video. Yeah, you can play it. You can see from the beginning to start how she did it. Look at the leg. Look at the knee. She keeps on hugging the knee. And that's how she did it. And it's her first time to do that. And she's 47 years old. Oh, next slide.
Happy.
Yeah, she's happy customer. So on the first part, we have to tighten the contact between the left upper arm and the right outer thigh. This is the most important part first, before you even think of the other arm. That one that is practically under the armpit, above her knee and in armpit. That's number one stage. That's the stage one. Stage two, I make them breathe there first to calm their mind. We plant the hands on the mat, lifting the hips and slightly leaning forward. So you don't yet go to the pose. You just first stabilize your base, which is going to be your hand. So, but you only lift your slightly so that you can feel the weight of your upper body going into that. Third pose, third slide, third is with both feet on the mat, bend the elbow to serve as platform for the right thigh. So you secure that both your upper arms are securely holding the thigh. In this case, the right thigh. So you're not yet lifting anything there. You're just folding forward and look at the elbow. It's almost in the midline. So very important that should serve as a midline because that's the way to balance. Next slide. There she goes. You can see that she started to lift her right foot. Her right foot. but still the left foot is still on the mat. Okay, so you don't do everything at one time, so stage by stage. So, but you can see she lowered her body down already. Next stage. Then she lifted up her other leg, her left leg, lift it up, but still on that balancing state. I do that with the three-part breathing. When I do that, I cue the three-part breathing so that it will calm your mind going into that pose. Because if you hold your breath, your mind will get confused and you will fall forward or you will fall back. So what I tell them is to lengthen your inhale there. Use the three-part breathing. And then when you feel you're secure, that's the time you exhale. So when that lady is going still on an inhale, the next slide, please. And then there, she started exhaling, straightening her legs, and then leaning forward. That is where she's balancing. And then on the third, seventh stage, next slide, please. Yeah, she already lifted and straightened both her legs. But it's not yet there. So I told her there is still more. On the eighth one, she can lift her leg higher. Yeah, there she goes. So that's it. That's how the flow that I explained the last time how it went, and that's it. I have quite a higher success rate there. Out of 9 students that I have, 3 were able to do the full expression of the pose. About 4, they failed to strengthen their legs, but they were able to lift their feet off the ground. The other 2, they're having a hard time lifting their other leg, but they were able to lift only one leg. To me, that's a success because most of them, when I did this, it's only their first time that they see this pose.
Are they trained?
So they've been practicing yoga for at least the one that you saw, the lady you saw, is about 2 to 2.5 years been practicing yoga, but she does it at least 3 to 4 times a week. So that's it. And it's the first time that they experience the kind of cueing or kind of teaching, wherein I'm really breaking down the pose and I'm really prepare their body towards that pose. No, because sometimes in some of classes I've seen the poses that they use to go to that they do in that class, they have nothing to do with the peak pose. Sometimes I'm wondering, why is this the peak pose? No connection. And every sequence, I don't know, because if you notice in my first presentation, the first part, in every sequence there is an objective on what I want to see from them for me to assess if they are going to succeed into doing that pose.
Let me pull
Okay,
that up again. Let me pull that up really quick though again, your grid. Let me see if I can find it.
yeah, I updated it. I'll send it to you again. I updated
Oh, you have a different one now?
yeah,
Okay.
updated something. Introduce some poses that I want to do. I have some of that. I also have a sequence for. Are you familiar with Astavakrasana, the 8 angle pose? It's also an arm balance. You remember that?
The one where you have the both legs
Both
around
feet.
one arm.
Yeah.
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 Hmm. Yeah, I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah. So
I used to be able to do it when my tummy wasn't as big. I have a
no,
little,
you can do that. The tummy has nothing to do with that posture. You know that.
it kind of gets in the way.
No, it won't. Because
Uh,
the tummy is soft, I have a lady who's really a little bit on the big side, but
she
she was able to do. I'll tell her that tummy is only a decoration there. It's soft. It's not that hard that you cannot put your.
Okay. Oh, that's a good thought. I'll keep that in mind. I'll try it
You
again.
know, you di ba, according to Mitchell in her book, the mass is always constant in a gravitational force. No? It's only when you introduce loads and you introduce some loads or resistance to it, that is where the difference will vary. So if you're not introducing that much load on your tummy or in your body, the pressure will be constant. The force will be constant.
Yeah. I'll
It's a
try.
good it's a good insight that when I oh wow, that's right, in engineering, that's right.
Good. I'm
It's
glad.
only when you build the structure, the mass is the same, the weight, but you are introducing force. For example, there is an earthquake or wind factor. That is where you put when outside forces are affecting your structures.
Yeah.
The same with the body.
Yeah, so speaking of biomechanics, we're going to do a little bit more of that discussion now.
Yeah,
Thank you, Manny,
very
for
interesting.
that. That was good. Okay. Hi, Kyla. Welcome. I wanted to just review a couple of things from what we talked about before as far as biomechanics go. So remember that there's two kinds of forces. There's a weight-bearing load and there's tensile load, which is the stretching. And we talked about um, the different effects on the load and then the different types of stretching, anatomy of a fiber, and a muscle fiber, and we saw that the stretch actually happens on the connective tissue. And then there's torque was the last thing we talked about very briefly, and that's rotational force. So twisting that Manny was showing us in his presentation, twisting of the spine, that's a torque force on the spine. All right, so to continue, we're going to go through chapter 3 of this book by Jules Mitchell, Biomechanics of Yoga, and that chapter is called Mechanical Behavior. So when we were talking about stretch earlier, there was the idea of deformation, which is the change in shape or change in the tissue. And there's different ways that that change can happen. It can be compressive, like as in when you, for example, you lift a weight, there's going to be a compressive force on your spine because there's more weight bearing down on it. So it's going to be on those
Very,
joints. Yeah.
it's very, very engineering terms. Huh? Those are actually used in engineering terms, in mechanical and civil engineering. Those
Yeah.
terms, the right, those terms are really
Exact terms,
the
huh?
same
Yeah.
terms. Yeah, the
Well, these
torque, the
stretching,
compression,
mhm,
shearing, the shearing
bending, and
strength.
torque. Well, these are describing material, okay,
Yes,
not tissue. But we're kind of
yes,
applying it to tissue just as a way to understand how shape can change. It's not exactly like that as far as tissue goes, because there's a lot more factors to consider, right? So there's compression, there's stretching, there's shearing, which is when layers rub against each other in opposite directions. And then bending, which is the actual change in shape. And then torque, which is the rotational force. Okay, so we're still talking about non-biological materials here. There is an idea called stress and strain. So the stress is the amount of force that's applied. The strain is the response of that material to that force. Is this still engineering, Manny?
yes. That's it.
Yeah.
Like
So,
think of a building or a car.
yeah, so if you think of something that's brittle in A here, something that's brittle, you apply a lot of, let's see, high stress and low strain. So it doesn't take very much. Strain is the effort or the force. So it doesn't take very much. The stress on that brittle material goes up high. But ductile materials, ones that are not very brittle, you can apply a lot of strain on them and it's not going to stress it very much. Not as much as brittle materials, right? Okay, so again, we're still talking about non-biological materials. There's an initial toe region where the application of the strain just kind of like in the book it describes it as uncrimping. Like if there's crimping, if there's some compression, that initial force just kind of pulls it taut. And then as you apply more strain, this here is called the elastic region. So the material is actually going to give. It's going to deform. And that is that uh, slope of that change over time is a measure of the stiffness of that material. But then you're going to get to the point where it's not no longer an elastic region, it's a plastic response. So that means from this point to here, the material actually will no longer go back to its previous shape. The elastic region means if you stop before here, whoops, and you let go, that's going to go back to its original shape. But when you get beyond the elastic region into the plastic region, the change is permanent, theoretically. It's going to stay that shape until if you keep applying force, if you keep applying strain, you get to the ultimate fail point where it breaks. It kind of reaches its limit. Okay, does that all make sense, everybody?
Mhm.
Okay. So how does this apply to yoga? So let's talk about this tensile load on the knee in these two poses. Right. So here in this chair pose, there's a certain amount of stress and there's a certain amount of deformation happening in the knee. So what's the difference between this pose and this pose? Here you reach the end of the flexion. You can't add any more strain. You can't go any further because you're in full flexion, right? But you can still increase the strain by doing muscle contraction, voluntary isometric contraction. So you can still increase the load on that knee.
Or you can raise your hands to add more load. or
Or you can carry a weight. You can have a weight, right? You can add weight to your pose. Yeah. Okay, so stiffness and compliance. When we talk about stiffness, it's usually a negative thing, but actually in as far as tendons go, stiffness just means that that tendon has adapted to training or to load, or it has an inherent integrity to it. And what it means is the stiffness is that the tendon has the ability to stabilize that joint. So if we look at the difference between, move this over. Okay, so this material here has greater stiffness because it takes more strain in order to overcome that stiffness to get to that yield point. This is a more compliant material, so there's less strain needed to get to that yield point. It's more compliant. So tendons, when they adapt to load, that is what is called stiffness. Right? You may feel it as, like if you've done a lot of legs at the gym, you may feel it as as tightness. But what it is that the tendons have adapted. So a few things about adaptation is eccentric contractions promote the greatest adaptation. So that means like if you're doing a bicep curl, as you lower the load and extend, lengthen that muscle and those tendons, that's what's going to create more adaptation. 80% of maximum voluntary contraction is beneficial, but research has actually shown that 90% over 14 weeks was more effective over 55%. So what's maximum voluntary isometric contraction? That's when you just, without moving, you tighten your muscles. So if you were to go all the way max, like if let's say you're in a chair pose and you max out the contraction, meaning you're holding it in your legs and you go 100% as hard as you can and then ease off a little bit to 80%, that's going to give you good adaptation. So stiffness is a tendon adaptation to increased loads and does not mean a decreased range of motion. There is a difference between range of motion, flexibility, stiffness, and yeah, I mentioned flexibility already. So stiffness doesn't necessarily mean decreased range of motion or decreased flexibility, and increased flexibility doesn't necessarily mean decreased stiffness because there's other factors involved. There's also bone structure, orientation of your joints, adaptability, training, genetics. Okay. So up to that point, most of what we've talked about is referring to those mechanical, non-biological systems. So what makes it different? What makes the body different? And it's this idea called viscoelasticity. So a lot of the examples used in the book talked about a rubber band, right? So when you stretch a rubber band and you let it go, it goes back to its previous shape. That's called elasticity. And it goes back fast. You build up that potential energy when you pull it out. And the more potential energy as you let go, the faster it's going to come back together. Well, human tissue is not like that. When you stretch a tendon, a ligament, a muscle, whatever combination, it doesn't go back quickly. It goes back slowly because there is a fluid that surrounds all of those tissues, all of that connective tissue. There's moisture there. And so when you pull it, it goes back, but slowly. And so collagen is what a lot of what those fibers are made of, but also there's the tissue itself. So collagen largely affects flexibility. Elasticity of in your body is partially genetic. Human tissue tend not to be plastic. Everything actually says it's not plastic. So you can't actually change the length of your tendons. What tendons do is adapt to load. So after deformation, oh, why did that? Deformation. Oh, okay, this is supposed to go with this. Human tissue tend not to be plastic after deformation except for injury or fail point. Connective tissues return to their previous state. Human tissue is a closed system and is characterized by viscoelasticity. So what does that mean? It means, and this is called creep, that's what the book calls it. It's when you, for example, stretch a gummy bear, you stretch it, and when you let go, it comes back slowly when you take the load off. That's called creep. And then another principle is the stress relaxation, meaning if you keep the load there, so this one, when you take the load off, it returns slowly. Stress relaxation is when you keep the load constant, the stress decreases. So notice that when you hold a stretch after X number of seconds, you feel less of the stress because it decreases over time. So that's how human tissue behaves. That's it. Any questions?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting book.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. So there's a
Like for
few.
instance, in a crescent lunge, sometimes there is an emphasis on both feet pressing on the floor. But I find out following the principles of Mitchell and biomechanics, you can bend the back knee more so you can open your hips and putting more load on your front knee, on your front legs. No? So you can use different poses and you can use the principles of biomechanics on loading and stressing, but
Mhm.
just a little bit of modification.
Yeah,
that,
once you understand the principles of load and force and tensile loading, you can have a lot more variety and you can have more freedom because you kind of know the principles that underlie everything and underlie the body and how it responds to load. So I wanted to also talk about, find a picture here. Because we don't really talk about it too much, but I really like the idea of torque on the joints
yeah.
because I feel like since we don't use weights when we train in yoga, we have to get creative on how to load the joints because loading the joints is what leads to adaptation because the body responds. Let me see, I'm just finding
When
it.
I compare the torque to the transmission gears, so if your car is slow at first, slow, you're using the bigger gear in your transmission. As you go faster, the shifting of the transmission of the gear will go to the lower gears, to the smaller gears. So when you're climbing the mountain, sometimes you have to downshift your transmission. Remember, you're on one, and then you go to two, so that you have more torque. That is saying more torque.
Oh,
Yeah, in mechanical, in the mechanical engineering side.
right, mechanical terms. Yeah, so look at all the ways that you're creating torque in the joints. There's the shoulders, because the shoulders are coming forward, and their elbows, because you're pressing them into each other, hopefully. The wrists, not so much on the fingers because they're kind of flat against each other. So there's rotation going on in the hips, in the knees, and in at least in this ankle when you're doing this side. So if you are to be more um, detailed about creating load, you would cue a little bit different. Do you guys have any idea of how you could cue this to increase the load once you're already in the pose?
So when you lower your hips, you're increasing the load in a way to your thighs,
Okay. So lowering, bending the deeper into the standing knee.
or
Yeah.
lowering the hips down, yeah,
Lowering the hips down.
as high as your knee, your lower knee.
Level, so get perpendicular.
Yeah.
Get your thighs perpendicular.
Your quads will cry in
Yeah.
that pose,
What
and
can you
your
do?
adductors will really, because it's really double adduction. So that pose is very difficult for me. That's double adduction actually.
Hmm. Yeah, let's look at the knees. How can you cue that? What can you say to help them get more torque in the knee, for example, in a safe way?
Uh, Amy, what I do is I keep on lowering my hips so that I can have a more range of motion on my upper knee, because you cannot just lock the foot under unless you rotate. You have the full adduction of your hips on your right side there, on the right side, because
Mm-hmm.
it's dangerous to the knee if you just bring it towards there without the full adduction of your hips.
Yeah, so squeezing the inner thighs together.
Yes, sometimes I use my hands to really squeeze it
Yeah, so
so that I
squeeze
can
your inner thighs
get
together. That's gonna pull your legs
cross.
together. And then maybe pressing the foot against the
In a
leg.
way, yes, yeah,
Press the
pressing
foot
the foot to me down, the upper down, so
down.
that I can uh, have some space for my top foot to wrap,
Okay.
to bind. Yeah.
You can also try pressing the foot. So this is the right foot, pressing the foot to the right.
Mhm.
So, because you've got it hooked around the ankle, so you can pull on that a little bit.
Yes.
So, and then the elbows, if you were to press the elbows into each other,
Mhm.
right? Press the elbows into each other, and then using your hands, press the hands into each other. You're going to create more torque on the elbows, the wrists, and the shoulders.
But the stress there is on the standing, on the standing leg.
The
That
yeah,
should not be moving a lot. That should remain, stay.
the weight bearing is there. Yeah, but as
Yes.
far as the spiraling of the body goes, you can do a lot to
It,
create that
it's the upper
load.
leg that will. It's the upper leg that will do it,
Mhm.
not the lower leg, because the knee there will be strained too much in eagle
Oh,
pose.
I see what you're saying.
I see them that their lower knee, the standing knee, is splaying to the side. That's a bad thing. That's a bad for the knee. So when I cue that, I want their knee to be tracking on their toes,
Mm-hmm.
to be stable there, and it's their upper leg that should be the one that should be making all the adjustments. Keep the
Okay,
standing leg stable.
I'll buy. Yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then I want to look at this pose here. So here, now her hip is kind of more forward on this one. Maybe I want to look at a different one. Maybe this one. Okay, so here you have, she's got it pretty deep here with the hand on the other side, but what I want to think about is the back leg, because see how this knee is facing down? So that leg, the upper leg is externally rotating, but in order to get the heel down, you need to internally rotate at the ankle. Well, actually, it's an external rotation, but the heel is rotating towards the midline. The leg is rotating down. So there's a spiral happening in the leg. And
Yeah,
that's
but
great.
Amy, that position, that alignment is not accessible to everyone.
Right.
Sometimes when
No.
I see some people, I make them, lift your back heel.
Yeah, like
It's
this.
easier for them to twist, yeah, like that, yeah.
Yeah. But over
It's
time,
not,
I used to not be able to do it either. Over time, it's something that it's an adaptation that can happen. Of course, everybody's different.
yeah.
So it's
But
more.
if you have injury like my knee injury like mine, I don't do that anymore.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
have to
Yeah,
lift my back. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, those are the only two I wanted to look at. And any questions on those? Nope, all good. Okay. Let's take a quick little
You know,
break.
something I want to share you, Amy. When you use those technical terms, those, engineering terms, somehow it gives some comfort or confidence to your students that you know what you're talking about, and they will believe you easily.
A little credibility,
those
huh?
are those are jargons that will razzle dazzle your students,
Yeah.
because if it will just be as descriptive as the way the yoga is traditionally doing.
Mhm.
Not sound so so structurally sound, but you use those terms like pointing your toes to 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, stuff like that. It really, that's my my
Yeah.
observation.
Hopefully. Well, hopefully we really do know what we're talking about, right?
That book is very very good. I advise the girls to really look it up. You don't have to read it from cover to cover. Just read the portions that you need, and it will really help you in your teaching.
And there's good little the parts where it's darker gray like this. She gives more
Yeah.
explanation because
Yes.
it's she knows that not everybody can understand all of those terms, so it's really user friendly that way.
Is that book popular there in America? Is it a popular book? Is it being
Not,
used by?
no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. All right, you guys, let's take a little quick break and then we'll practice when we come back.
Two. Are we practicing?
Yeah, let's practice.
Oh,
Because
I have
we
my
have
mat
time.
downstairs.
We have time.
I
Yeah,
have
you can
my
go
mat
get ready. You
downstairs.
can go get ready.
Yeah.
Okay, Amanda, and you can go to your practice. Good to see you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Amanda.
Mhm. All right, you guys. So
I just
let's
get,
take 5 minutes. Yeah. You want to move your computer, Manny, or get your mat or whatever.
just get my mat.
Okay. Manny, do you use music in your classes at your studio?
Me, it's about no if there is traffic about 15 minutes. No traffic, it's about 5 to 7 minutes only.
No, music. Do you use music?
Very light only, just very not a very loud one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't use the usual Indian Hindu music. Those
Uh-huh.
I only use the modern music, like have you heard of Chappelle, Jim Chappelle?
Ah,
Those new age music, yeah.
yeah, New Age. Kind of
Yeah.
like what I'm playing right now.
Have you heard of Eric Satie?
No, haven't heard of him either.
Yeah, it's also a good. He's a Frenchman who's making good
Yeah.
combination of classical and new age music.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This way. All right. Is this your office, Manny?
No, this is my man cave. It's
Oh,
like
nice.
an attic that I converted into where I put my music, my books,
Oh, that's
my
nice.
just on the third floor. That's why I seldom come here unless it's necessary.
That's fun. Okay,
But I
you
have my
have
own thing.
your own space. That's nice.
There is also a small room, a small bed where I can sleep if I just want to be alone.
Oh,
I call it my man cave.
that's great. Yeah, I like it. You ready, Kyla?
On on the family room where I always do my yoga, I think they're cleaning up the place, so no space.
Oh, okay.
We will have some visitors from the States coming over. Be staying here for a few days
Oh, nice.
before they go up. That
Oops.
will be 15 of them. 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 12 adults, 3 kids. Yeah.
Oh, sounds like a fun party. Okay, what I wanted to just expose you to, maybe this is something you've experienced already before, is to really feel the uh, internal sensations while you move. And we'll do a couple of things to try to tap into that. We'll do what I call a 10 breath per movement sun salutation. So that means while you're breathing, I know 10 sounds like a long line of breaths, but it challenges you to really keep the motion going. So 10 breaths on salutation. And then we're going to do the beginning and the middle and the end of certain movements. And so I want you to break it down to yourself, and I'll cue it beginning, middle, and end of each movement. And then we'll also do the pulsing in certain poses. So we're going to be flowing more. There's going to be less holding. And when we are holding, we're still going to try to feel that internal flow. So this corresponds right to the prana flow, the life force that's always inside of us, always going. Circulatory system is always flowing.
Is it the one that they call inside? Is it the same thing as the inside flow that they're talking about? I've heard about it, but I have not done it.
Oh, yeah.
They call it the inside flow.
Oh, I've never heard of it called that, but yeah.
They call it inside flow, but I never had experience of it. And I don't even know how it is.
Okay, well then we'll get to experiment with that today. So 3 things: a 10 breaths on salutation, beginning, middle, and end of a movement, and then pulsing. And I want to do that because I want to help us get more in touch with the voluntary muscular isometric contraction. So you want to be able to really use your muscles and contract your muscles in a Sthira Sukha way, right? The balance of ease and stability, so that you can get better and get more connected to contracting your muscles without doing it in a gym-like way. So like lifting and using load to contract your muscles kind of forces you in a way to feel that contraction. But the involuntary isometric is you're consciously contracting without an outside stimulus. So this is more of a motor control thing, so that it's learned, and it's a neural pathway that you're going to be creating. Okay, makes sense? Motor control, more motor control than just the body responding to load. It's you're more conscious. Okay, makes sense? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start with the 10 breaths on salutation. I'm going to do one with you. So remember, the objective is to keep finding movement while you're still breathing. So we're going to do 10 breaths for each segment of the sun salutation. Okay, so I'm going to count to 10 slow enough so that you can take a breath at each count. So we're going to start with Tadasana, mountain pose. You're standing at the top of your mat. You have a nice tall spine. Lift up on your kneecaps so that the legs are working. All right, so we're going to take the arms up overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, keep growing, 10, exhale, 1, 2, keep breathing, forward fold, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if you're down, try to bend deeper, 8, keep moving, 9, and 10. Inhale to the flat back, 1, 2, 3, keep lengthening, 4, find more movement, 5, press the hands back. 6, maybe you press the heels. 7, maybe you reach through the crown. 8, 9, straighten the knees a little more. 10, and step it back. We're just going to do that in one breath. But you're going to exhale slow. 1, as you chaturanga. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. High cobra, because we're keeping the knees down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep finding movement. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To down dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stay here for 3 breaths. And step forward. We're going to flat back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Find more sensation. 6, 7. Maybe you lift up on the kneecaps. 8, 9, 10. Exhale, fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to rise slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pause here. Now I want to watch you. We're going to do one more cycle. Inhale, arms up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get as tall as you can. Exhale, fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go deep. 8. Keep deepening. 9, 10. Good. Flat back. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep lengthening. 6. Find more strength. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Step it back to plank. That's just one breath. Slow chaturanga. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And lift up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good job. 7, 8. Keep growing. 9, 10. Beautiful. Down dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold for 3 breaths. Keep the flow going, the inner flow. One more breath. And looking forward, step to the front. Inhale, flat back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And exhale, fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, find a little more, 6, 7, 8, keep folding, 9, 10, good, and rise, 1, 2, 3, take the arms overhead this time, 4, 5, 6, get as tall as you can, 7, keep reaching, 9, 8, 9, 10, and hands to your heart. Good. Pause. You can close your eyes. Beautiful. And let's do a Surya Namaskar B. And we're just going to go beginning, middle, and end. So bending your knees and reaching your arms up. Find the beginning, the middle, and then make your way to the end of the pose. Chair pose. And while we're here, we're going to pulse. The pulsing is just coming up a little bit and then getting deeper. 3 pulses, 2 and 3. And sit nice and deep and flat back. Step your left foot back. Pause here. So we're going to rise up, but I want you to feel the beginning. Inhale, lift, the middle of the movement, and then go to the end of the movement. Reaching up. Ready? So once we're here, we're going to pulse. So we're going to come up high on the back foot and come down. And lift up. And come down. One more, lift up. And come down. So coming down, beginning, middle, and end, step it back, plank. Beginning, chaturanga, middle, end. Up dog, beginning, middle, end. Down dog, beginning, middle, end. 3 breaths. Shift weight to your right leg. We're going to lift the left leg. Feel the beginning, the middle, and the end. Bring the knee into the nose. Beginning, middle, and coil deep and step forward. Back heel down. Arms reach. Beginning, middle, end, and we're going to pulse. Lift up high on the back heel and come down and lift and down. One more, lift and to the mat. Beginning, middle, and step forward into the flat back. Beginning, middle, and exhale, fold, beginning, middle, end, and rise, beginning, middle, and reach it up, and hands to heart. Pause here, take a moment. All right, one more cycle and I want to watch you. So one more cycle, Surya Namaskar B. You're going to sit in your chair and reach the arms up. Beginning, middle, end, reach it up. Good. And pulse. So you're going to lift up just a little bit and then sit deeper. 1 and 2 and 3. Pause. Exhale, forward fold. Beginning, middle, and go deep. Inhale, flat back. 1, 2, keep growing. 3, step it back to plank. Chaturanga, slow, beginning, middle, and then up dog. 1, 2, 3, and exhale down dog. 1, beginning, middle, end. Pause, take 3 deep breaths. Shift the weight to your left leg. You're going to inhale the right leg up, slow, beginning of the movement, middle of the movement. End of the movement is that long stretch at the top. Exhale, knee into your nose. Feel that slow coiling in of your belly. Coil it in deep. And then step it forward carefully. And then you're going to rise, beginning, middle, and end. Get to that warrior 1. And then we're going to do 3 pulses. So you're going to lift up on the back heel. Keep that knee straight, the back knee straight if you can, and just pulse with the front leg. The whole body, pulse. Yes, 2, 3, and hold. And exhale, hands to your mat, beginning, middle, and end. Step forward, flat back, beginning, middle, and keep lengthening. Exhale deep, drape yourself over, beginning, middle, and all the way down. Good. Inhale, rise, beginning. Arms come out to the sides. Middle, feel that open chest. And you're going to reach up, get super long. And exhale, hands to your heart. Good. Beautiful. Let's pause. I want you to reflect to me a little bit how that experience was for you.
I just have one question.
Yes.
In our Surya 1, we count to 10. Now in the Surya 2, we're doing the 3 count only. The beginning, middle, and end. Why is that?
Oh, because I don't want to keep you too slow. I want to let you flow a little bit more. It's harder when it's slower, right?
I know.
Harder.
I was with suddenly there is a faster movement on the Surya B.
When
Yeah,
we
no,
were
What, Kayla?
when we were counting to 10, it felt like I was breathing faster but moving slower.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting, right? Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's smaller
It's
breath.
good. You can also do that in other poses because some students, like mine, Kyla, they tend to anticipate the moves. Sometimes there is no command yet, and they're already stepping into it.
Oh, interesting.
so, so that way, you can train them to be patient and wait for the moment where they're going to be stepping forward. Do you have those kind of students who tend to anticipate the next pose?
I always change my class. They're hardly ever the
No,
same.
even if it's a new sequence, because they cannot wait for
Oh,
about 3
no,
or 4 breaths.
my students.
Yeah,
Oh, no, they
very
don't.
obedient.
They just know that they need to pay attention because it's never
I
the
think
same.
in my next slice, I will punish them with this slow movement for
Oh, the 10
anticipating.
breaths. So how did it change your experience of the Surya Namaskar A? Aside from taking slower to Chaturanga, that's a big change.
No wonder it's called an inner flow because you really have to, balance your movement into bits and pieces. You don't just swallow. You like in drinking wine, you sip. You don't swallow the whole wine. The the taste of the wine is, the bittersweet taste of the wine will be better if you sip it slowly,
Hmm.
not just one drop.
That's a good
So
analogy.
that's how I compare it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyla?
And I got sweaty, huh? I sweat. I sweated.
Yeah.
Did you sweat, Kyla?
I didn't sweat. Probably because I went to the gym before this, so I'm
Maybe it's the weather.
working hard today. But I feel like it made me just more mindful of the little moves, and also usually, that's something I would do pretty fast because usually you're trying to like warm yourself up,
Mhm.
and um definitely taking it slower was nice. I felt I could appreciate each pose a little more.
Mhm. Yeah, and you might discover micro movements more inside your body, more subtle movements, like maybe just a little lift of the neck or a little opening of the chest. You can get a little more detail in the movement, and that hopefully will get you to use more of your body and
This
have
technique
more
is very
variety.
good for a warrior. This technique is very good for warrior flow.
Warrior flow, yeah, it's good for warrior flow. The pulsing also is really good for, especially if you're going into a deep pose like lizard. Uh, you
In
can
in in in,
pulse
in
in lizard.
Pilates, the pulsing is happening on the back leg, not much on the front.
Oh, in lizard, you mean?
No, in Pilates practice, in a lunge position,
Uh-huh.
the one that is pulsing is the back leg. Always like that. That's always the rule of thumb there.
Oh, that's what you were gonna do at first, huh? Yeah, you wanted to dip
That's
the
what I thought. That was the command. So I changed it when you say that the pulsing
yeah.
should be
So
should be.
the pulses, it's you can use it that way too if you're training, if you're conditioning, right? But if we want to deepen into something, then you go to the where it's the most challenging, where you feel the most sensation, like in a lizard lunge, it would be in the hip. So you would do the pulsing in the hip, the front hip. So let's experiment with that. So come to your squat. So come to a squat.
Sorry, I was talking to my dog. I didn't realize I was unmuted. I was like, oh no, I'm not muted.
It's okay. All right, so here, actually, before we even go to the lizard lunge, I want you to think of a wave moving up your spine, like a wave of energy starting at your tailbone. It's gonna rise up. And I want you to see if you can physicalize that. So you can start just by imagining it. Just imagine energy that's rising up from your sacrum all the way up to the crown of the head. And then if you can, see if you can follow that energy with movement. So you're going actually into axial extension, which is lengthening of the spine. And see if you can feel that wave. We'll take a few more breaths here just so you can kind of play with that. And then bringing your hands down, step the left foot back. And let's go into the high lizard. So your back knee is up. And your front knee, your right knee is to the outside of your right elbow. So I want you, for the pulse here, you're going to keep the back leg straight. And I want you to think of cat-cow. So we're going to pulse by pulling your belly in and rounding your spine like you're in a cat pose. So you're going to lift your hips just a little bit, come up high on the back toes, and then exhale, lower, and lift your chest, straighten your spine. You're going to come deeper into that lunge. And do that a few times. So coil in through the belly. So this is the whole body involved here, not just the leg or the hip. Then come deeper, and then do again. Lift up. And coil. And lower. 2 more. And 1. And go ahead and set your left knee down and let that right knee fall open to the side. And we're going to rotate here. So you're going to rotate through the hips. Make like a letter C with your tailbone. Your movement might be a little different, and it really just depends on the shape of your pelvis, your hips. But you want to just feel a little looser through that knee and through the hip. Maybe even through that right ankle. And now let's walk our foot across. And we're going to go into pigeon pose. So here we're going to continue with the idea of waving the spine. So we're going to wave down, lead with your chest, and then roll up 1 vertebra at a time. And we'll do that a few times. And then come down, elbows, all the way down, but keep some energy flowing. So you're still having micro movements. You're kind of paying attention to where you need a little more space in your body. And move into that space. And coming on up. And let's step back to down dog just so we can get a counter pose of everything back in the center. Lift through that tailbone. Couple of breaths here. And stepping the left foot to the outside. And we're going to pulse here. So you're going to lift from the belly like you're coiling in. And then lowering. Lift the chin, the chest. And pull it in. And lower. And exhale, draw it in. Inhale deeply. 2 more. And coil. And setting that back knee down. Let the left knee relax to the side and just small rotations. And walking the foot across, setting the knee down. Your pigeon, and we're going to wave the spine. So lift, then exhale. Chest is going to come down, and then roll yourself up. Do a few more. One more. Roll up. And then come all the way down. And breathe here again, still finding little movements. And rise up. Sliding the left knee back. Let's go to down dog for counter pose. 3 breaths. And let's step right foot forward. I just want to show you one more application of this principle of the pulse. So you're going to take the right arm, hug your right leg into your chest. So the right arm under your thigh. And then you're going to open up to the twist, inhale. And exhale, coil in. Lift the hips a little bit. Find that cat pose. Inhale, lower the hips, raise the arm. Exhale, coil. Inhale, lengthen. And one more. And reach it up. And bring the hand down. Straighten your right knee. And lift into a flat back. Exhale, drape your body over your leg. Inhale, lift up. Straighten your spine. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Hold. Stay there for 3 breaths. And planting your hands, step it back. Down dog breathe. And I want to watch you, so step your left foot forward. Between your hands. Hug your left arm under your leg. Good, hug it in, like really pull the leg into your chest. And then inhale, open that arm up to the twist. Left arm up, spin your spine. Exhale, hug it under. Reach it under, really coil it in. Lift your hips a little bit, coil. Yes. And inhale, lower your hips, reach it up. Straighten it out. Good. And coil it in, really pull it in. So you want to go opposite and then open up to the other direction. Rise up, open the chest. Beautiful. 2 more. Hug it in, coil. Maybe go all the way up on the back toes. And inhale, open, stretch, and twist. And last one, coil it in. Good. And then pretend like there's no end point to this pose. Open that arm up and twist. Keep going, keep twisting, keep spiraling. Keep opening, keep rotating, rotating. That's it, yes. And hand to the mat. Straighten your left knee, good job. Pyramid pose. Straighten the left knee. Good. And if you need blocks here, you can grab blocks. You good? All right, so inhale, flat back, straighten that, lengthen like a turtle. Exhale, lengthen your spine as you drape over your front leg. Fold over, fold. And inhale, rise. Feel it like a wave in your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Good, just 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Keep lengthening. Exhale, drape yourself over, fold. Beautiful. 1 more time. Inhale, flat back, lengthen out of your crown. And exhale, fold it deep and stay there. 3 breaths. Keep finding more space. Reaching the crown towards your toes. 2 more breaths. And step the left foot back. Down dog, breathe. Awesome. And step your feet forward all the way. Have a seat. Let's do some cool down. Oh, actually, before we cool down, let's stand back up to mountain. Let's do eagle pose because I want you to experience that torque on your joints. So you say you have an issue with your knee in this one, Manny?
I use a block.
Okay, no problem. I want to learn how you do that too. All right, so the way that I cue the eagle pose, you're going to bend both knees from mountain and take your right arm underneath in eagle arms. Sweep it underneath. And then take the left leg on top of the right, all the way up and over. Good. Oh, okay, I see what you do. So you keep your standing leg very square. Okay.
My knee is very bad. I cannot
Good.
fix
No,
my knee.
I'm glad you know you have that. Okay, so we can work on the arms. So I want you to squeeze your arms into the midline and then press. So from the shoulders, squeeze in. Like you want to squeeze your shoulders towards each other, yeah? And now press your elbows out. So the shoulders are in, the elbows are out. And then the palms together. So you're going in opposing directions. Shoulders in, elbows out, palms squeezed together. Good. Now the legs, squeeze the inner thighs together. That's all you need for you, Manny. And then for you, Kyla, I want you to squeeze the inner thighs and then try to separate your knees, but then your ankle around your foot around your ankle is going to pull your calves together. Yeah, got it? Hold just for another breath. And unwind. Good. So we'll try the other side. So bend both knees. Left arm underneath, right leg on top. Good. All right, so shoulders in. Try to separate your elbows and then palms together. Press your hands together. Squeeze your inner thighs together, engage the pelvic floor. Try to separate your knees, but pull your bottom foot into your ankle. And hold for just 3 more breaths. And unwind. Good job. How did that feel? Did you feel a little more in your joints? Okay. Good. All right, let's have a seat. Now we'll do cool down. So Janushirsasana, right leg forward, left foot tucks in. Inhale, lift up and forward fold over your leg. And take 10 breaths here. And inhale, rise. Lift the left knee and twist to your left. So just lift the left knee, yeah, and twist to your left. That's all. 10 breaths here. And unwind, other side. Left leg forward, right foot tucks in. forward fold. 10 breaths. Nice and slow breaths. And lift up. Lift that right knee and twist to your right. 10 breaths here. And unwind both legs forward. Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Just about 5 breaths here. Just relax your back. And inhale, rise up. Let's come down on our backs. We'll do a bridge pose, so bending your knees, pressing into your feet, lift your hips, roll up that spine, hold, squeeze that imaginary block between your knees. And roll yourself down. Good. Happy baby. And bring your legs together, up and over for a plow pose, or you can just keep the legs straight up towards the ceiling. And roll yourself down carefully. Lift your shoulders off the mat. Come to the crown of your head for fish pose. Nice breaths across your chest. Try to lift your lower back. Maybe your tailbone perches on the mat, so your sacrum is off the mat. Just see if that works for you. Shoulder blades back. A few more breaths. And tuck your chin, roll it down. Good. Take a final twist. Let's do the right knee into your rib cage. And take it across. And come back to center, give it a hug. And let's switch out. Left knee in. And take it across. And come back to center. One more hug. Let's settle in for Shavasana. So tucking the shoulders under, arms away from your body, palms face up. Close your eyes, be as still as you can be. Take a big inhalation to wake yourself up. Start moving at your wrists and your ankles. Stretching if that feels good. And then bring your knees in, roll to one side. Come up to your seat. And find your meditative seat. We'll do pranayama together here. So let's do alternate nostril breathing. So sitting up tall. Not sure where Kyla is. Kyla, did you fall asleep? She might have fallen asleep. All right, so we're going to take the index finger at the base of the thumb, or if you have another method of doing it, feel free. Plug the right nostril, inhale left. So right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Keep going on your own. When you feel clear, steady, and calm, you can rest your hands on your lap. Just do a few moments of silence, feeling your energetic body, feeling your presence. Having gratitude for each breath, each moment, each day of life. Take this feeling of peace with you into the rest of your day. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste. All right. Thank you, Manny. I think Kyla must have been really tired today.
She tells me
There she is.
where are my glasses? Golly. Where did I set down my glasses? Anyway, see you. Just a message when is our next class.
I wanted to have one on Friday, but Kyla and Amanda are not able to make it on Friday.
Yeah,
So
okay, no problem.
um,
That will be Saturday to me, so it's okay. It's okay.
we can have one if let me think about it. But I would like to meet with you, Kyla, personally, because I had a meeting with everyone else. So you can't make it Friday, right, Kyla?
The weekends are usually not good for me. I'm usually not home.
Yeah. Okay. How's
Friday I could probably make it like around like 4 or something.
maybe we can do a early one? Yeah, 4 to 6 or 4 to 5:30.
Yeah,
Okay, let's do that so that we get 2 days in this week.
sounds good.
We miss that.
Was I sleeping? I think I was.
Wednesday, next week, that will be Thursday to me.
No, this week we're gonna have one Saturday for you.
Saturday for me.
Yes, for you. Yeah, Saturday, Friday for Kyla and I, 4 to 5:30 or 6. So for you that will
Wait,
be
Saturday, I
Saturday.
have some. Yeah, because of I thought we'll not be doing Saturday, so I set up. My I have so many friends coming over the Philippines. I don't know if it's what
Oh,
they call in America the travel revenge. Travel
oh,
revenge. A lot of them are traveling. I
oh,
have relatives coming. I have friends coming. I do not know. Maybe they're
oh, okay.
especially coming from America. They call it revenge travel.
Oh, I know what that means.
Suddenly they want to travel after the pandemic. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I
After
have
the pandemic.
friends from Europe, and and I'm expected to be there because
Okay.
I'm their I'm sort of their leader during our high school days. I'm the
Okay.
rabble rouser.
Oh, well, that sounds fun. So
I could,
Yeah.
Kyla, we can meet just the two of us Friday.
yeah, I could also meet tomorrow if that works.
Can you meet tomorrow, Manny?
Tomorrow is Friday to me
Friday.
here. It's
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
that'll be
Friday is just okay.
okay. Let's
Yeah.
do that tomorrow.
Just message me. Yeah, I
Okay.
can skip my Friday, but not Saturday. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
Just message. Huh?
I sure will. All right, you
Okay,
guys.
thank you. Okay,
you.
thank you.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye. Bye everyone.
Bye.